Hi, hello everyone! I'm Toshi from Japan and tourist guide for foreigners. In this video, I'll show you 15 new entry rules for traveling to Japan in 2026 and 2027.
In a previous video, I covered Japan's entry rules, but things are changing quickly. In this video, I'll cover the latest travel rules for 2026 and 2027, plus 15 essential tips to know after you arrive. Watch until the end to avoid unexpected problems at the airport. Plus, I also offer guided tours in Japan, travel itineraries based on trip duration and area, and recommendations for unique cultural experiences.
You can find more information in the description below. So, let's get started.
Number 1 is Visit Japan Web. Before you arrive in Japan, there's one thing that can save you a lot of time at the airport. It's called Visit Japan Web. This is an official government service designed to simplify immigration and customs procedures, and it's strongly recommended for all travelers. Let me quickly walk you through 3 major benefits and 2 important mistakes that real travelers have experienced. First, the benefits. Number 1. You don't need to fill out the paper customs declaration form on the plane or at the airport. Number 2. With the QR code, you can skip the regular customs line and go through a faster process. Number 3. It makes your entire arrival process much quicker and smoother. Now, here are 2 important things to watch out for. First, each person needs their own QR code. Even if you register as a family, up to 10 people under one account, each traveler will get a separate QR code, and each one must be shown individually. One of my guests shared a single screenshot among family members, and it caused serious delays at the airport. Second, be careful of fake apps and scam websites. Visit Japan Web is not an app, it's a website. If you find or download an app pretending to be it, delete it immediately. There are also fake sites asking for credit card payments. The Japanese government has already issued warnings about this. Visit Japan Web is not mandatory, but if you don't use it, you'll need to fill out paper forms and wait in longer lines. If you do use it, just show your QR code at customs. One last tip, airport Wi-Fi can be slow, so it's a good idea to take a screenshot in advance.
A small step that makes your arrival much easier.
Number 2 is Japan Entry Rule Updates. Japan is preparing to introduce a new pre-arrival screening system, often called Japan ESTA. If you watched our previous videos, you may remember that the government has been discussing a system similar to the one used by the United States. This time, new updates have been announced, including details about the required information, who must apply, possible entry refusal conditions, and the planned timeline for the system. Under this system, certain travelers will need to complete an online screening before arriving in Japan. During the application, you'll provide basic travel information such as your occupation, the purpose of your visit, and where you plan to stay in Japan. Here's an important point. If a traveler does not complete this pre-approval, airlines may be required to deny boarding, meaning you could be refused before even getting on the plane. The system mainly applies to visitors from visa-exempt countries and regions who travel to Japan for short stays, such as tourism. Foreign residents who already live in Japan will not be affected by this system. At the same time, the government has also announced possible changes to immigration fees for foreign residents. The current fee cap of 10,000 yen may increase, with some procedures reaching up to 100,000 yen, and permanent residency applications potentially up to 300,000 yen. The new entry system is currently planned for introduction around 2028. Also be careful. Fake application websites related to this system have already been reported, so always use the official government site.
I'll keep you updated with any new information, so please subscribe to my channel.
Number 3 is New Entry Denial Rule. In a previous video, I talked about a serious problem Japan is facing: unpaid medical bills left by foreign visitors. Because of this, the government has been discussing whether travel insurance should become mandatory. To understand how serious this is, in just 1 month, September 2024, unpaid medical costs from foreign tourists exceeded 61 million yen. Now there's an important update you need to know. At the moment, visitors who leave unpaid medical bills of 200,000 yen or more can be registered in a government database, and in some cases, this can lead to being denied entry on future trips to Japan. Starting from fiscal year 2026, the government plans to lower this threshold significantly. Unpaid medical bills of 10,000 yen or more may be enough to trigger registration. This clearly shows Japan's position. Travelers who do not follow local rules or fail to pay required costs may not be welcomed back. I know most of you are responsible travelers, But this is still something you must be aware of. Always pay medical expenses properly, and strongly consider having travel insurance.
Mandatory travel insurance is still under discussion, and I'll keep you updated as new information comes out.
Number 4 is Japan's visa update. Here's big news if you're planning to visit Japan. Starting in 2026, Japan is set to dramatically increase its visa application fees. The fee is expected to rise from around 3,000 yen to roughly 28,000 yen, nearly a 9-fold increase, and much closer to what other G7 countries already charge. What's surprising is that Japan hasn't raised visa fees since 1978. For decades, it had the lowest visa fees among G7 nations, but that era is coming to an end. Now here's the good news. Japan still maintains a visa exemption system. Citizens of 74 countries and regions can enter Japan for short-term tourism without a visa. However, the allowed length of stay and entry conditions vary depending on your nationality.
So, before you travel, make sure to check the official Japanese government website for the latest details.
Number 5 is automated gate mistake. Many countries use automated gates with facial recognition to speed up immigration, and you may have heard that Japan offers a fast entry experience using these gates. But here's the catch. While Japanese citizens can use them easily, most foreign visitors cannot use the automated gates unless they register in advance. If you don't register, you'll need to line up at the regular immigration counters with an officer, and depending on the time, the wait can be up to an hour. So don't assume you can skip the line just by arriving.
To learn how to register for the automated gates, please check the next section.
Number 6 is Faster Traveler Program. As mentioned in the previous section, if you register in advance, you can use the automated gates and skip long lines. Well, Japan offers a Faster Traveler Program for eligible visitors, allowing quicker entry through automated immigration. I actually mentioned this idea in a previous video, saying Japan was considering an automated system for foreign travelers. But after looking into it more closely, I found out something surprising. Some travelers can already use it. This system is called the Trusted Traveler Program, or TTP. If you qualify, you won't need to go through the standard immigration counters. Instead, you simply scan your passport and fingerprints at an automated gate and enter Japan much faster. So who can use it? At the moment, US citizens enrolled in the Global Entry Program are eligible. It's also available to short-term business travelers, and even some tourists, as long as they or their family members hold a platinum or higher-tier credit card. There are a few basic requirements. You need a passport from a visa-exempt country, no criminal record, and no history of visa denials for Japan. If you meet these conditions, you can apply online through Japan's Immigration Services Agency website. The process is fairly simple. You apply online first. If approved, your first entry still goes through regular immigration. After that, you complete a second step at a designated airport counter, where officials verify your documents, take your fingerprints, and issue a trusted traveler card. Once you have that card, you can use automated gates on future visits, and skip the long immigration lines entirely. If you travel to Japan often, this can be a real game changer.
For more details, check the official website linked in the description.
Number 7 is Japan Passport Rules. Here are 2 important passport rules you need to know before entering Japan. First, the passport validity rule. In many countries, you need at least 6 months of validity remaining on your passport to enter. But Japan does not have this rule. As long as your passport is valid for the duration of your stay, you can enter. However, there is one important catch. Some airlines may still require 6 months of validity, so you should always check with your airline before you travel. Second, let's talk about visa runs. Even if you don't need a visa to enter Japan, your stay is limited to a certain number of days. Some travelers try to extend their stay by leaving Japan and re-entering shortly after. While there is no official limit on how many times you can do this, it can raise red flags at immigration. Officers may suspect that you are staying long-term, working illegally, or not visiting for tourism. This can lead to additional questioning, being taken to a separate room, or even being denied entry.
Know the rules, travel smart.
Number 8 is Japan immigration questions. As a tour guide in Japan, I always ask my guests about their experience at immigration, and what kind of questions they were asked. Based on the latest cases in 2026, there are 5 common questions you should be ready for. They will often ask for your hotel or accommodation, your return flight, your purpose of visit, your occupation, and how much money you're carrying. If your hotel is not confirmed, if you have a one-way ticket, or if you are unemployed, there is a higher chance you'll be asked more detailed questions. In some cases, travelers are even taken to a separate room for additional screening. There is one more important thing to remember. If you are bringing more than 1 million yen in cash or valuables, you must declare it at customs. You can still enter Japan, but if you don't declare it, it may lead to penalties or confiscation.
To avoid delays or trouble at the airport, make sure you are ready to answer these questions clearly.
Number 9 is new customs rule. Japan is moving toward a fully digital customs system. Until now, even if you didn't use Visit Japan Web, you could simply fill out a paper customs declaration after arriving in Japan. But that's going to change. The Japanese government has officially announced that paper customs declaration forms will be phased out by 2030. Instead, travelers will need to submit their customs declaration online before arriving. You'll enter your name, address, passport information, and other details online, then receive a QR code by email to show at customs. Although this change is still a few years away, I recommend using Visit Japan Web starting now. As I explained in another video, it gives you access to dedicated immigration and customs lanes, helping you get through the airport much faster. In a separate video, I also explain exactly how to use Visit Japan Web and the common mistakes to avoid.
Be sure to watch it before your trip and enjoy a smooth arrival in Japan.
If you would like a personal guide in Japan or need recommendations for travel plans and cultural experiences,
please contact me from the link in the description section.
Number 10 is departure tax update. In a previous video, I talked about Japan's planned departure tax increase. Now there are two important updates you should know. First, the new departure tax has officially been confirmed at a flat rate of 3,000 yen per person, regardless of your flight class. Originally, Japan considered charging 3,000 yen for economy class and 5,000 yen for business and first-class passengers. But that idea was reportedly dropped because it would make the system too complicated to manage. Second, the new tax will officially apply to flights departing Japan on or after July 1, 2026. So if you leave Japan after that date, you'll need to pay the new 3,000 yen departure tax. However, you usually won't pay it separately at the airport. In most cases, the tax will simply be included in your airline ticket price. And this change doesn't only affect foreign tourists. The tax applies to everyone leaving Japan, including Japanese travelers, so honestly, many people in Japan are not happy about it either. That said, Japan is not the only country with a departure tax. For example, the United States charges around 3,500 yen, Egypt around 3,900 yen, and Australia can charge up to 7,000 yen.
If you want to visit Japan at a lower cost, it may be better to travel sooner.
Number 11 is new airline rules. If you're flying to Japan, pay close attention to these new airline rules. Not knowing them could result in extra fees, baggage problems, or even being denied boarding. First, let's talk about carry-on baggage. Currently, ANA allows one carry-on bag that fits in the overhead bin, plus one personal item that can be stored under the seat in front of you. However, for flights departing on or after July 1, 2026, ANA will introduce a new size limit for personal items. They must be no larger than 40 by 30 by 20 centimeters. In the past, slightly larger items were often accepted, but enforcement is expected to become much stricter. The combined weight limit for your carry-on bag and personal item will remain 10 kilograms. Next, checked baggage. Starting May 19, 2026, ANA is changing its free baggage allowance. The new standard size limit will be 158 centimeters in total dimensions, and free baggage will be limited to 2 bags in economy class and 3 bags in premium class.
Before you fly, make sure your bags meet the new rules.
Number 12 is Prohibited Items Guide. Before entering Japan, it's very important to understand what you can and cannot bring into the country. If you try to bring prohibited items, they may be confiscated, and in some cases, it could even lead to serious trouble at the airport. Let's start with 5 commonly misunderstood prohibited items. First, meat products. Most meat items are not allowed into Japan, whether raw or cooked. This includes sausages, bacon, and even beef jerky. A friend of mine once tried to bring a leftover burger from the US, and it was confiscated immediately upon arrival. Second, fruits and vegetables. Even common items like apples, oranges, and bananas are not allowed. Japan has very strict rules to prevent pests and plant diseases. But the good news is that fresh fruit is easy to find once you arrive. Third, medications. Some over-the-counter or prescription drugs that are legal in your country may be restricted or prohibited in Japan. I personally experienced this when I bought painkillers in the US that were not approved for import into Japan. Illegal drugs, including recreational substances, are strictly prohibited and come with severe penalties. Always check the official government website before you travel. Fourth, counterfeit luxury goods. Fake branded items are considered a violation of intellectual property rights in Japan, and bringing them in can lead to serious legal issues. Fifth, certain animal products. Japan follows international CITES regulations, so items made from endangered species, such as tiger, crocodile, or exotic reptiles, are strictly prohibited. Now let's look at 2 items that are allowed but restricted. First, alcohol and tobacco. You can bring them into Japan, but only within duty-free limits. If you exceed the limit, you may need to pay high taxes or have items confiscated. Second, cash. If you bring more than 1 million yen in cash or valuables, you must declare it at customs. There is no tax just for declaring, but failing to declare or making a false declaration can result in penalties or confiscation.
For a full list of restricted items, check my previous video.
Number 13 is Japan's new tax-free rules. If you're planning to shop in Japan, this is something you really need to know. Japan has made major changes to its tax-free shopping system, and these updates could completely change how you shop during your trip. The reason behind this is simple. The government wants to stop tourists from abusing the system by buying items tax-free and reselling them illegally. So here are 4 key changes you should be aware of. First, Japan is shifting to a refund-based system. You'll pay the consumption tax at the store, then receive a refund at the airport when you leave Japan. This is similar to how tax-free shopping works in countries like Germany and France. Second, special sealed packaging for consumable goods is no longer required. This speeds up the checkout process and reduces waiting time at the store. Third, the previous purchase limit of 500,000 yen has been removed. However, if your total purchase exceeds 1 million yen, the store must register serial or identification numbers for those items. Fourth, these new rules will take effect starting November 1st, 2026. While the system becomes more flexible, it also means you'll need to plan your shopping a bit more carefully. The government has even discussed the possibility of ending the tax-free system entirely in the future, arguing that tourists also benefit from public services and should contribute through taxes. If that happens, it would be a major change for international travelers.
I'll keep you updated with any new information, so please subscribe to my channel.
Number 14 is best IC cards for Japan travel. If you're traveling around Japan, getting an IC card like Suica or Icoca is an absolute must. These cards make your trip so much easier. You can use them not only on trains and buses, but also at convenience stores, supermarkets, and even vending machines. Which card you get depends on where you arrive. In Tokyo, you can buy a Suica at Narita or Haneda Airport. If you land in Osaka, you'll likely get an Icoca at Kansai International Airport. The good news is that both cards work in most major cities across Japan. You can buy them easily at airport train ticket machines. There's a 500 yen deposit, which you get back when you return the card to a station clerk. If you don't want to pay a deposit, the Welcome Suica is a great option. It's valid for 28 days and designed specifically for visitors. My personal recommendation is Mobile Suica. It's incredibly convenient because you can recharge it anytime, anywhere. Just keep in mind that Mobile Suica is currently available only for iPhone users. Android users will need a physical Suica or Icoca. If you want to choose the best option for your travel style, check out my previous video for more detailed tips.
It's full of tips that can save you time and make your Japan trip smoother.
Number 15 is best way to get cash. As I mentioned in a previous video, Japan is still very much a cash-based society, so it's important to have Japanese yen ready when you arrive. But where should you exchange your money? In the past, I recommended avoiding airports and hotels because the rates were worse, and instead exchanging money in the city. However, in 2026, this advice is starting to change. Let me give you a real example. One of my guests decided to exchange money in Asakusa because it was convenient, while another guest exchanged the same amount in Shinjuku on the same day. The difference was several thousand yen. The reason is simple. In popular tourist areas like Asakusa in Tokyo or Kuromon Market in Osaka, exchange rates can actually be worse than at the airport. Some exchange machines and shops in these areas have very poor rates. Many travelers are also surprised to learn that even inside the same convenience store, like 7-Eleven, exchange rates can vary depending on the machine. Here's my recommendation. In Tokyo, look around Shinjuku West Exit or Omoide Yokocho. In Osaka, Namba is generally a better area. The key is simple. Don't just choose convenience. Always check the rate. At the airport, it's smart to exchange only a small amount, around 5,000 yen per person. Just enough for immediate needs. If you need more, wait until you reach the city. Another easy option is using an ATM. You can withdraw yen almost anywhere in Japan using a credit or debit card. And most ATMs support multiple languages. Be smart with your exchange. Save your money.
How was today's video? Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like button. See you in my next video. Bye!